Howdy once again, Damon from Drawing Board TCG here, and today I got a special treat, special awesome goodness treat. I'm going through the rules of my card game, the Drawing Board TCG. Just so you know, this is version 1, so there could be changes in the future, but right now this is what I got. So, the first thing, the card structure. I'm going to use the mini-bot as my example. So in 1, there's the card name. 2, there's card art. There's action point stat, we'll get to that later. 4, card ability. Every single card has an ability. There's no blank cards at all, at least in set 1. 5, set symbol. Number 6, card number. And finally, number 7, card rarity. Next part is artist card structure. We'll get to it later, but just a quick synopsis. This is your character card. You do not put it in your deck. Number 1, card name. Number 2, card art. Number 3, card ability. Number 4, set symbol. Number 5, artist. Classification. Also, I don't have any art done for the artist, so all of them are going to be blank for right now. Alright, and then let's get into the nitty gritty, the fun part. Keywords. Page, name for the card in your play area, hand, or deck. So basically, it's every single card that you play. It is a page instead of a card, because I don't know if you noticed by now, but everything is art themed. Erased or erased. When a card dies, it is erased. Number 3, artist card. You just saw the card you build your deck around. Like I said, it's like your character. Sketchbook, your deck of cards. Garbage, pile of dead cards. Or a graveyard if you used to like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. Points goal is how you win the game. We will get into this at the very end of the video, but for right now, it's all you need to know. It's how you win the game. Action points, you saw in the mini-bot thing that there's an action point stat. So an action point is the number on a card needed to play and attack. Again, we'll get into it later. Add your points to your point goal, minus points to your point goal. Friendly page, another page you control on your side of the play area. And next one is board, your play area. And it's spirit, perform the action when the card is played from your hand. If you ever played Hearthstone, it's basically a battle cry. Hermit, plays just like spirit, but this is the only card you can play on that single turn. Sacrifice, erase this page from your hand directly to the garbage to activate the ability. Recycle, perform the action when the card is erased. Again, with the Hearthstone analogy, is just like Death Rattle, and Mighty is just like Taunt. Your opponent must attack this page before your other pages on the board. Cool. So I don't know where to put this next part at, but players' turns. It's very broad and whatever in general. But each player starts with 4 cards, and each player has 3 action points to each play phase. You probably want to know what a play phase is, so the next point is turn phases. Alright, so this is a little weird just because of the draw phase. It's so it's read weird, but it makes sense. So the first phase is your draw phase, and it reads, draw the same number of cards you played last turn. So basically, if it's turn 1, you don't draw anything. You pick up your 4, and then you do a mulligan if you want, and then that's it. But after turn 1, you get to draw as many as you played last turn. Play phase. Can only play 2 cards in a single turn. The AP points must add up to 3. It can be less. Example, you can play a 1 plus 2 in a single turn, but you cannot play a 3 plus 1 because that equals 4. Like I said before, each play phase you have 3 action points to spend to play your cards. But you can play a 3 plus 0 since it adds up to 3 and is 2 cards on the single turn. Battle phase. You attack your opponent's pages with your pages on the board. And you can attack with your pages when they're first played. Like in Magic, there is a summoning sickness. In this game, there is no summoning sickness. Only on turn 1 you can attack because that's kind of unfair. And then point phase, add up all your remaining cards' APs if they have been on the board for 1 full turn. And again, I will get into this later. And then the last phase is your end phase, which is your end of your turn. And the turn goes back into your opponent, and then they do their phases. So, Battling. Number 1. Pages with higher AP don't get erased. Number 2. Pages with same AP, both pages get erased. Number 3. Pages with lower AP gets erased. Basically, it's Yu-Gi-Oh rules, where if you attack with the higher things, they live. The board. So this is what it's going to look like when you play the game. Number 1, your artist card slot is on the board permanently. If you've ever seen Chaos Galaxy, it's kind of just like the planets in that, where it has an ability, but you can't attack it or nothing. It's just there. It has a passive ability, where you can use it at any time that you want during your turns. Number 2, your sketchbook. Number 3, your garbage. Then number 4, you can have only up to 4 pages on your field at once. But you may play pages when you have 4 pages in play, but they will immediately get erased. There's very few scenarios when you do want that, like with recycle, because if you have a full board and you have a recycle card in your hand, you could put it on the field, but it will get erased, so you get the recycled ability. Cool, and then the fun part, how you win. Each page grants points during your point phase when they have been alive for 1 full turn. Example, when a page is first played from your hand and gets to the point phase, it does not grant points until your next point phase if it is still alive. Your points have stunning sickness basically, and your pages can attack when they are first played. But you cannot get points the first turn that the card is played. Number 2, you get points based on the page's AP, not attack. And that means something like Battling Ooze. It has 0 AP, but its ability is that if it has the same attack as the same thing on the left of it, so that means it can have 3 attack, but it will not grant you any points because it has 0 AP. And the first player to reach 30 points wins. That's my general guideline for points. I mean, it could be 10 points, it could be 50 points. Literally, it could be anything you want. But first player to reach a determined point goal wins. Sweet. So this has been a super long video. Thank you so much, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. And then check back next Monday for a new video. Have a great and beautiful week.